Hello, everyone. My name is Hagop, and on behalf of the Armenian Revolutionary Federation of Providence, our sister organizations, and the Saints Vartanans Church of Providence, I would like to welcome you all to this town hall that will discuss the details of this crisis that has spread throughout Lebanon, which has greatly impacted the Armenians living in Lebanon. Today, we have the honor to speak with Hagop Pakradouni, who is the member of the National Parliament of Lebanon, and who also happens to be the chairman of the ARF Central Committee of Lebanon. Before we begin speaking with Hagop, I would just like to thank the regional and central members of the Armenian Relief Society who join us on tonight's town hall. Everyone listening must know that we have a big matching fundraiser going on today. And I'm going to share my screen with you so you can all see this. Everybody needs to know that it is a perfect time to make a charitable donation to get much needed funds to Lebanon. Here we go. There's two matching fundraisers going on. At the end of the day, as an Armenian community in Providence, we are trying to send a total of $40,000 to help Armenians in Lebanon this year. There's several ways you can donate, and I'll remind you throughout tonight's town hall. You can send a check, make the check out to either ARS Ani or ARS Arax, or you can write it to Saints Vartanans and mail that check to 7 Armenia Street, Providence, Rhode Island. Your donation will be matched up to $10,000 from the ARF and the sister organizations, and another matching will be going on from Saints Vartanans. So either way, the community has a $20,000 matching fundraiser right now, dollar for dollar. Your $50 donation will be $100 before it makes it to Lebanon. You can also donate online. You can go to arseastusa.org. You'll notice there's a donate button. You'll see the logo of Lebanon Emergency Appeal, and you can make a very secure donation using your credit card. So please donate. Your $100 will be $200. Your $10 will be $20. And tonight, talking to Hagop, we're going to find out exactly how these funds are being used. And on Friday, we're going to go live with Engerui Sevan, Garabedian Atamian from Lebanon, who will also tell us more details of what the ARS is and has been doing to help Armenians in Lebanon. But Hagop, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to let everybody know it's currently 2 a.m. in Lebanon. So thank you, Hagop, for staying up, but I don't want to waste any more of your time. I want to get right to it, and you have the floor. We have some questions for you. I've already sent them to you to help prepare because there's a lot to talk about tonight. Guests that are on the call, if you have questions, please put them in the chat box. I'm going to keep everybody muted just for the sake of keeping the conversation going smoothly. So Hagop, one of the first questions right off to the start, we know COVID has affected Lebanon. It's affected every country throughout the world. But what has happened in Lebanon these past 2 years that has resulted in today's crisis situation in Lebanon?
You know, I have prepared, first of all, good evening, everybody. And it's a pleasure to be invited as a speaker in such a setting. In fact, I wanted to introduce how the ARF Tashnak Suchun began to work in Lebanon back to 1902. We are not a newborn political party in Lebanon. In fact, we are the oldest political party in Lebanon, which still exists in Lebanon. The other political parties, the non-Armenian political parties, they go back to 1930s, 40s, till 70s. but we are the oldest political party still working in Lebanon. If you permit, before answering your questions, dear friends, just to give me some minutes, precious time from you, to give a holistic picture of the ARF and our sister organizations and the political situation going back till the independence, till now. So, first of all, the Tashtaq-June motive to exist in Lebanon was and still is to represent the Armenian populace in Lebanon, and in turn, serve Lebanon and the Lebanese public as a whole through political and economic intervention. The party started work on the social level since its existence in Lebanon in order to protect the language, customs, and traditions of its populace through organizing the construction of schools, cultural centers, and churches so that the Armenian population isn't lost in the ways of immigration, but remain attached to the ethnic roots. Thankfully, the Armenian cause is in no way contradicts with the political work that benefits Lebanon. On the contrary, all this has benefited Lebanon greatly by introducing a new, educated, vibrant, and economically fruitful people into the spectrum, which would have otherwise remained refugees in rust belts all over the country. Lebanon, as you all know, is a sectarian country, and as such, the Armenian Orthodox, the Armenian Catholic, and the Armenian Protestant communities are recognized as three different sects within the Lebanese sectarian system. Lebanon gained its independence from the French mandate while the Armenians were here in Lebanon. In other words, Armenians have been on this land before Lebanon was independent. As such, they were part of the first political system that was formed in the country after independence and remained to continuously be part of this system. As you already know, just like around the world, in Lebanon also, the party has established many community organizations that assist in medical care, funds for families, students, cultural and sports organizations with nominal fees, so that all have equal opportunity in taking part in whatever interests they have. The children of the poor will go to school alongside the children of the rich, regardless of being able to afford the school fees. They will learn the piano or they will dance and play soccer and basketball, regardless of their financial background. They will all be able to have a roof over their heads, jobs, rights as workers, regardless of their economic class. The RF is born from the Armenian public and not the other way around. And just like a family takes care of each other, the party and the Armenian community are intertwined in the same way. They take care of each other, protect each other, and care for each other. Armenian history as a whole has shown this to be truth. The well-being of the people is our priority, and stemming from our ideological pillars, we made sure that all Armenians are able to afford schooling through the Armenian University Students' Funds, which was established 4 years ago, that no family is left without children because of financial issues through the Armenian Family Fund, and that no child's christening is denied because of financial issues through the Armenian Children Fund. As a people subjected to genocide, living all over the world, we have to make sure that Armenians remain Armenian and are not lost in the tides of assimilation and unconscious integration. No matter where, an Armenian primary duty is as citizen, yet the roots should never be forgotten. That protection comes from the ARF through making sure that the people are not left needy in anything. Part of protecting a society is through protecting their economic and financial well-being, as well as cultural and traditional, and most importantly, educational well-being. It is hard to understand how a primarily political party deals in such issues. Yet, in countries where the state cannot provide this support, and unfortunately, Lebanon is such a state, we are not in a position to allow a genocide surviving people to be lost because of such issues. As for the crisis we have reached in recent years, the Lebanese system is flawed at best, whether this crisis emerged because of corruption, ill planning, financial fraud, and or engineering, the Syrian conflict and borders being unusable for transit, the outpour of foreign currencies because of refugees or unofficial international sanctions against Lebanon. The truth of this matter is that the majority of the Lebanese population is suffering. 700,000 children cannot afford an education anymore. Food, whether it's meat or vegetables, has become unaffordable for most. Prices of children's milk and medication have inflated to unforeseen amounts. Imagine the minimum wage in Lebanon was, and still is, 675,000 Lebanese liras, which amounted to 450 US dollars 3 years ago. And this was not enough then for a family to survive on. Now this minimum wage, which is still the same, amounts to $30, only $30 at the time of the writing of my speech. The crisis brought with itself security issues and social upheavals, during which we made sure to protect its areas and the Armenian community as best as it could, financially, security-wise, and socially. We made sure that the school fees do not rise for the Armenian schools, so that no Armenian child is left without an education. We made sure to provide food and necessary financial support for our needy, just as during the influx of Armenian Syrian refugees. And along, unfortunately, came COVID. Our organizational structure suffered because of the regulations. Yet our Ungers and Ungeruhis and affiliated groups, such as Homentmen and AOIF and Badanega, as well as, excuse me, as well as the Armenian Relief Society, the Armenian Red Cross, continue to support the community as they always do. We made sure that every Armenian had sanitizers and face masks under their disposal. We handled hospital beds for those who became hospitalized since there was a crisis at the hospitals. Our medical fractions, like AFIL and the Armenian Red Cross, the Armenian Home and the Loh in Lebanon, made sure to purchase and hand out oxygen tanks and breathing apparatus for those who couldn't get to a hospital. We made sure all needed medication was received by patients, either through our Gomides or the AYF. Yes, we lost a lot of friends to the virus, but we were also able to make sure that we didn't lose more. We had quoted, "Stay home, we come to you" slogan, and we helped our compatriots in every way through delivering them what they need. Later, With the Beirut port explosion, the biggest catastrophe we had faced it. As people who live in Lebanon, we are no strangers to bombings, terrorism, armed conflict, assassinations, etc., etc. Throughout our lives, we have experienced all those. Yet, the Beirut port explosion was something we had never seen. Regardless of my own personal experience and whereabouts at that time, the fact that something that big happened was astonishing, to say the least. I would not be exaggerating, dear friends, when I say not a single person smiled for months after the explosion. And we can still see the anxiety in people's eyes. As for our reaction, well, the Armenian populated areas were hit hard. The Armenian regions of Ashrafiya and most of Burj Hamid took the toughest hit. We had 16 dead, 250 heavily wounded Armenians, glass and collapsed buildings all around us. Yet as always, we were on the streets. Our angers carried those who needed help into our clubs for first aid, rushed to the center of the Armenian Relief Cross, to the hospitals, to find beds of our wounded. We were the only political party to organize on the spot and be able to reach our community for help. They were devastating times, believe me. Yet even later on, I'm saddened to say that all the international help that went to NGOs and different social organizations was wasted on hot meals when the people needed blankets, was wasted on clothes when the people needed shelter. And I say this with utter confidence, that the only organization that efficiently collected and allocated funds and assistance was the ARF. No international assistance came to Burj Hamid, nor the Armenians. It was solely thanks to the Armenians around the world that we were able to help our community. It was thanks to His Holiness Aram I, Catholicos of Cilicia. It was thanks to you that we rebuilt our homes. It was thanks to you that our children were healed. It was thanks to your generosity and historical party's organizational capabilities that the right type of assistance reached the Armenian people at the right time. Yes, you might find some of your acquaintances going out, spending money. You might see them on social media. Yet you have to understand the psychology of it all. The Lebanese population as a whole cannot believe that they are still alive. After the port explosion, they do not know if their money is going to be worth anything tomorrow morning. They do not know if they will wake up to a civil war, another explosion, a lockdown, or if the money in their pockets is going to be worth less than tissue paper. Sometimes it is a coping mechanism, but I can tell you for sure that is only the 10% of the population that can actually afford to have such a coping mechanism. On the one hand, yes, a handful of people do still party on rooftops. But on the other hand, we see the candlelight burning in people's homes. We see our children not handing in homework because they couldn't even afford to have candles at home the night before. We see the holes in the shoes and the t-shirts in winter for lack of jackets. We see children having leftover stale bread for lunch at recess. We see fathers and mothers working 3 jobs, cleaning people's houses for extra income that will never be enough. We see cancer patients, diabetics, and hospitalized people calling in and standing in line at our clubs and offices so that we can give them the needed care and assistance in order to get their medical needs. I know the content is hard to understand, and you are lucky, really, if you are lucky, if you don't understand the way the Lebanese live in Lebanon. The Armenian community in Lebanon has mostly been concise and homogeneous throughout time before the crisis. Yet, since Pashinyan took power in Armenia, and since 17 October upheaval, trials to separate the community have been undertaken, specifically targeting the church and the Armenian political organizations, especially the ARF, since it is the most influential in Lebanon. Yet mostly, the community has stayed intact, helping each other as much as possible. Security-wise, the streets in general are not as safe as they were. Yet in Armenian regions, we tend to keep safe and secure through our own efforts and liaison with governmental institutions. There is a lack of medicine availability, common and rare items, and those that are available have become too expensive for citizens to afford. A lot of doctors have left the country, and now there is fear of receiving good medical attention. During the start of the pandemic, we had already faced lack of hospital beds, and it seems that it is going to be the case again. Thankfully, in areas where we have influence, homelessness is not an issue, since our Gomides and the party in general is very attentive that no Armenian remains homeless, and usually that is the case. To our knowledge, there are no Armenian homeless people in Lebanon. There were a few cases of mentally challenged individuals, and as soon as it was brought to our attention, we took the necessary measures. Today, foreign currency is locked in banks with no access to our own money. There are limits on withdrawing our own finances, even in Lebanese liras. The black market rate of the dollar is now, today, 23,000 Lebanese liras, whereas the banks pay at the rate of 3,900, which is a 75% cut in actual value. And even with that, there are limits in monthly withdrawals in Lebanese liras, around 8 million, which is worth roughly $320. And those who see amounts like that are considered privileged. Now, generally, there is nothing where you have to pay in cash dollars except luxuries. But everything is priced in dollars, and you have to pay the black market equivalent of the dollar, which is a major problem, since most of the population still gets paid by the official rate of 1,500. Just to give you some examples, a middle employee or a teacher in our institutions, he was lucky if he had a salary of 1,500,000 Lebanese pounds or 2 million, which used to make 1,000 to 1,300 US dollars. Now the salary is the same, but 2 million Lebanese pounds just make $90. Whereas 20 liters of the benzene is 300,000 Lebanese pounds, which makes around $15. Imagine that a teacher who is obliged to attend the school daily, if he or she spends 40 liters of gas in a week, they should pay 600,000 Lebanese pounds, which on a monthly rate makes 2,400,000, which is more than the salary they get. We have 94% cut from the black market rate, which most basic needs are priced at. At the start of the crisis, when you paid in cash dollars, you could get significant discounts. Yet now the case is not the same, except when it comes to real estate. Armenian schools became free since the start of the crisis. We will not allow a single Armenian child to go on without an education. We assist financially in other ways whenever we see a member of our community in dark circumstances. We provide food, medical supplies out of our own pocket through fundraising, through benevolent Lebanese-Armenians and Armenians around the world who trust our organizational structure and will end capability to assist our people in their times of need. We also use our government contacts whenever possible and wherever applicable to be able to solve many issues regarding assisting our community. Finally, the main question. Dear compatriots, how can you help? And please don't get me wrong. You can help, mostly it is in US dollars that would help. For example, we have electrical problems, but generators would not help since the fuel for those generators is paid for in US dollars. So what would I do with a generator if I am not able to pay the fuel? Supplies that we cannot find in Lebanon, like specific medication, would be great. Yet unorganized efforts are not helpful. The Armenian Red Cross and the COVID Relief Committee, as well as the GAMC, and we as Armenian parliamentary bloc officers have details of the needed types of medication, which sometimes change. So any assistance you would like to provide, please communicate beforehand. Foreign currency is still the safest bet, since it can be utilized for any needs the community might need. There is no way for assistance to be driven into the country, for example, through Syria, since Syria is off limits and we do not have any other open borders with any other countries. As for the method of sending help to Lebanon, it is always better to do it through trusted organizations, the church, the RF, the Armenian Relief Society, schools, etc. For example, $20 amounts to the minimum wage in Lebanon. $200 amounts to a previously very well considered salary, around 5 million Lebanese liras, that used to be $3,300. A family's monthly costs would be covered with $250 to $300 a month easily. Also, I regret that I have to say this, but we also need your votes. If after elections we can't represent the Armenian community, it will be much harder to help our community or to represent them. We wish we could tell you that we are well. We wish we could tell you that we are here to assist you and not the other way around. We wish to return to being the community that supports all Armenians around the world. Yet, sorry to say, times are hard. And this time, and in all honesty, we need you. We need your medicine. We need your help. We need your money. It is regretful, but it is true. And unfortunately, we are not happy here to tell you about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ingrid Hagop. You said a lot. You answered a lot of our questions that we had provided in advance that the community has been asking. And I think you shared very specific examples of how bad this crisis actually is, how lucky we are to be here, and how we can help. Money is the most important thing we can send as a diaspora in Providence, or anybody listening throughout the US or Canada or around the world. Our money is extremely valuable to help those in need in Lebanon. And Ingrid Hagop just explained in very fine detail how that money gets used. Ingrid Hagop, I just want to, again, thank you. I have some follow-up questions, if you don't mind answering. The situation that you explained and how bad it is it different in certain parts of Lebanon? Are the Armenians, because of the help the diaspora is providing, are they in better shape and better safety compared to other Lebanese citizens, or is it the same everywhere?
You know, because of the sectarian system in Lebanon, every community has a foreign state backing it. For example, the Shia community has Iran. The Sunnis, they have Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the Gulf states. The Maronites, they have France, Vatican. The Greek Orthodox, they have Russia. We, the Armenians, we have nobody. Our state, our homeland, Armenia, they are in need of us. They are in need of diaspora. They try to help in different ways. Our party helped us. Our friends in Armenia help us. But we don't have a state backing. So we just need the backing of our compatriots in all the diaspora, not only the old Lebanese citizens who are now living in the United States. The other communities, they are better helped. They have more help from outside, but nevertheless, the help that we are getting from our diaspora is better than from none. We thank all the help, all the assistance from outside. We know that you don't earn the money easily. The dollars are not on the trees. You work and you have your jobs, you have your problems too. But in such a difficult situation, I think united efforts are helpful more.
Thank you, Ingrid Hagop. Do you see the situation getting any better, or do you see it still getting a little bit worse day by day?
You know, it's not only economical, the problem. We have the real political problem. And it's not the time, I think, to analyze all our political problems, Lebanon, Israel, relations of Iran with the Americans, the Gulf region, Turkey, Russia. Lebanon has always been a part of these problems. Any two countries outside the region have problematic ties, we have to pay the price. Nevertheless, we hope with the government that is formed newly before 2 months, they have difficulties, but talks are held with the IMF and the World Bank. and international organizations to make some reforms in Lebanon. And after the reforms, we can hope that some change will come. But waiting the change, waiting to be better, yes, it's a good hope for us, but till that day, we still have to live in these difficulties.
Thank you, Unged. And I just want to pause for a moment. We've listened to Unged Hagop explain in very thorough detail of what's happening in Lebanon to our Armenian brothers and sisters, our family out there, and how important our dollar is. And right now, the Providence community, the Saints Vartanans Church, the ARF, the ARS, AYF, Hamaska, and Homenetmin, we've all come together in order to do a matching fund donation. So if you hear us, if you heard Unged Hagop's story and what we're going to continue talking about, please donate. Your US dollar is the most impact that can be made to help Armenians in Lebanon. You can send a check. You can make the check out to Saints Vartanans. You can make it out to the ARS Ani, ARS Arax, and mail it to 7 Armenia Street, Providence, Rhode Island. If you want to make a donation online, you can go to arseastusa.org. You'll find the donations and you'll see the Lebanon logo. You can make a secure donation with your credit card. Every penny is accounted for. Like Unged Hagop said, there were other NGOs, other Lebanese government organizations that were receiving funds internationally that were not efficiently used. But all the money that goes through our church, our prelacy, our Arach Nortaran, our ARF, our ARS, our Hamaskayan, our organizations, everything is accounted for. And at the end of the day, the Armenians in Lebanon only have us to help them as a diaspora. Unged Hagop, earlier you were talking about the explosion at the Beirut port and the help that the ARF provided immediately. Can you tell us, have a lot of those repairs, the windows of Armenian homes that were blown up, have they been repaired? Have the agums, the churches, have they been repaired enough to work again?
You know, after the explosion, after 24 hours, we had a meeting with His Holiness around the 1st. And His Holiness launched a fundraising in the diaspora, and we formed a central committee in Lebanon under the auspices of our prelate, Shahi Sirpazan, with representatives of all the Armenian communities, the Armenian political parties, and the ARS and other organizations. We repaired 1,000, almost 2,000, 1,980 houses, the windows. The priority was for repairing the houses. There were some totally demolished, destructed houses, others partly. On 3 occasions, we covered, several occasions, we covered all those who had such cases. The priority was the houses so that the people go back to their homes, then the church, and then our centers. Still, the priority is the Armenian human being, the Armenian citizen. Our clubs know we couldn't repair them. There are some clubs still, especially in Ashrafiya region, some of them in Burj Hamud, we're still waiting to better times, to better situations, so that we can repair these centers. The Armenian Relief Society, the Red Cross Center, was repaired, yes, because we needed this center to help the people for hospitalization, for medications, for other medical help. But we still need to repair our clubs too, yes. But the priority is the Armenian as a human being.
Angir Hagop, I know we've talked some about the prelacy and Gatorigos and the work he did on the ground immediately following the explosion. You talked about how our Armenian schools are allowing those who can't afford to attend school for free, and to make sure that no one is homeless, no Armenians go homeless. These are incredible accomplishments. And again, I want to remind everybody who's listening, our donations are invaluable to the Armenian community in Lebanon. Our dollar is very powerful and can go a long way to help, whether it's, if you donate $20, we're going to match it. It's going to be 40. You donate $50, we're going to match it. It's going to be 100. You donate $200, we'll match it, and it'll make sure a whole family lives comfortably for at least a month, because every penny is going to go help. Angir Hagop, can you talk about the homelessness? Where are the Armenian homeless going? Do we take them to the agums? Do we take them to the church? I'm just curious.
Fortunately, now we don't have homelessness. But just after the explosion, there were cases. For example, we managed a good number of families in hotels for a certain period of time, and we paid these hotels. We managed to bring them to a safer place, to give them homes in Burchamud or in places less destructed. They lived in houses that we tried to find for them without rent. We paid the rent. For example, coming back to the schools, before 1 month, we distributed to, and still we are distributing, to 2,200 students assistance for their school materials, for their uniforms. And we assisted them around 700 million Lebanese pounds. Every day we have such problems. Just let me give you a bitter example of electricity. You know that our country, we don't have electricity. The state only gives 2 hours of electricity. 22 hours of electricity we get from generators. Any home which has benefits from a generator and uses only 5 amperes from the generator. Now the price of 5 amperes, which just light 3 or 4 bulbs and the refrigerator, they have to pay 1,600,000 Lebanese pounds. The minimum wage is 675,000. A lucky person gets 1,500,000. But 5 ampere generator electricity is 1,600,000 pounds. So imagine what an extraordinary situation we are talking. The cut of electricity affects everything in our life. It affects if you are going to take a shower. It affects if you are going to have the boiler. If it affects if the student is going to study. If you have a sick person in your house and you need just some oxygen, you can't have it. So to help those, and we will help them. We will help them from our heart, from our souls. We'll give them everything we can. All those who are lucky or better than the other, we are going to try to help those who are less lucky than us. I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing Matt. Şimdi Sergun.
We can't hear you and get Harag for whatever reason.
Is this any different?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, I don't know what happened, but thank you for telling me. Angir Hagop, I just want to reiterate what you said. A 5-amp generator costs almost 2 times as much as a person salary. And I just want to
Yes.
put it in perspective. To charge 2 iPhones, for those listening in America, to charge 2 iPhones for 1 hour is about 5 amps. And that's more than 2 times a salary of a Armenian living in Lebanon or a Lebanese citizen. It's absolutely
Yes.
unimaginable. And I want to stop and remind everybody who's listening, who can't possibly believe or fathom or understand what's going on, that you must make a donation. There's a matching donation taking place. The ARF and the sister organizations are matching up to $10,000. The Arash Nortaran, the prelacy, the Saint Vartanans is matching up to $10,000. Send the check to 7 Armenia Street. Make the check out to Saint Vartanans, ARS Ani, ARS Arax. We will get your money to where it needs to be, and we will strengthen it. We will match it. You can make a secure online donation at arseastusa.org. Please take action to help our brothers and sisters. Angir Hagop, can you tell us a little bit about the Hamaskain? We know Loch is very active, so Loch being the ARS, we know they're very active, but Hamaskain, AYF or LEM, the Hominid Men, the Scouts, can you tell us if they are still being able to be active and take part in their normal activities, or has it all changed for them?
You know, after the pandemic and the lockdown, through time, they began to reorganize, and I'm happy to say that the Hominid Men now is in a better situation. The Scouts, they are having their gatherings every Saturday and every Sunday. The sport clubs are working, and Hamaskain, with its centers in Burçamut and in Antalyas, in Akpalian Club, it's just, if I can say, you translate it in English, Merui Petagen, yeah, translated
From the beehive.
beehive, yes, and they are doing great job. Yesterday, for example, for the Christmas, they had a recital in downtown Beirut, where attended 60% of the people attended. They were not Armenians, they were Lebanese non-Armenian citizens. and they are doing really great job. The same we can say for Hamilton, and we know Loch, which we can consider the backbone of our community in Lebanon. Lem, the AYF in Lebanon, and the Badanegan, they are doing great job too. On Friday, we have our celebration of 131st ceremony of the ARF, and 80 new Badanis are going to give their costume. And we are very happy that the youth, the Badanegan, the students, the schools are back to work. And you can't imagine, because I am very near, I can say it with much confidence to our students, to our schools, to our teachers, that now they have the hope that everything will be good. They have the hope and this new inertia that they are going to work better to gain what they have lost and to be better than the previous era.
That's great to hear. That is fantastic news. Thank you so much for telling us that our sister organizations are doing better now. Can you tell us a little bit about the Armenian churches in Lebanon throughout the communities? Is everybody being able to go? Do you know if church is being held every Sunday? The baptisms are happening, people are getting married, and the church is being able to help the community again or continuing?
Every Sunday, we hear the bells ringing. Every Sunday, the churches are attended. More than the Sundays, every day, the churches are open. Our clergymen are there. Our prelate, Bishop Shaheh, that you all know him, is on the head of all these religious activities. We have religious ceremonies. We have religious activities. Yes, the churches are working. Weddings are taking place. Baptism and christening are taking place. You know, we all have this, but the other part, after the wedding, we are not able to have, because of economic problems, financial problems, we can't have the festivities, we can't have the dinners, we can't have all these gifts or presents that we used to give to each other or to the newly married couples. But life is going on. We are going to marry, we are going to have new children, we are going to baptize them, and the Lebanese community will keep getting strong. With your help, together we are strong.
If anybody has any questions, there's only a few minutes left tonight. Please type your question into the chat box. We are not going to open it up to a question and answer by unmuting anybody. So if you have any questions, please put it into the chat box and we will try and get to it. And if we can't get to it tonight, we'll make sure that you get the answer. Angel, Hagop, you mentioned a lot about what was going on medically. It's being tough to find medicine. Some doctors are leaving the country. Can you tell us, I've heard in the beginning it was very difficult to find the necessary medicine. Now it's a little bit better, but it's very expensive. Can you tell us a little bit about the medical situation some more and how our donation is going to be helping the Armenians with the medical issues?
You know, I talked about it. Yes, now we have these medications. We are in a better situation. Before, for example, just let me say, not giving the name of the medication, a medication whose price was 40,000 Lebanese pounds. Now it is 280. A medication that you have to take it daily basis. Or some cancer medications which were expensive already, now it's becoming unreachable. We have some problems in getting these medications from the airport or from the port because there are lots of difficulties in getting them out and having the okay of the Ministry of Health and the governmental institutions. But still, we can have them. They are very expensive, but not more than the price in your country. You know, it's cheaper here if you speak on the basis of dollars. It's cheaper here than in the United States, than in Europe. So if there are medications, you can cope with the Armenian Relief Society law, and you can transfer, or they can transfer to you, give to you the list that we need, or you can just donate earmarked for medications. We can get the medications from Lebanon, from the Lebanese market. It's cheaper than the medications in your country. But if you are getting the medications in other ways without paying or with certain discounts in the United States, we always welcome these two.
Thank you, Ungir. And again, I want to remind everybody who's listening, and you're hearing exactly how your donation is getting used by the prelacy in Lebanon, by the ARS, or otherwise known as Loch in Lebanon. Please send your checks to 7 Armenia Street, Providence, Rhode Island. Make the check out to ARS Arax, ARS Ani, Saints Vartanans. The funds will be matched up to a total of $20,000. We want to get $40,000 from our community to help the Armenian community in Lebanon. You can make your donation online. Go to arseastusa.org/donate. You'll see the Lebanon Emergency Fund button. Click that, and you can make a secure donation using your credit card. Ungir, Hagop, just a few questions left. Again, thank you tonight. By the way, it's 3 a.m. in Lebanon, and Ungir Hagop is still with us. He's paying a lot of money for that electricity, but we're glad he's able to join us. I know you've been mentioning so many services, so many ways ARF, ARS, everybody is helping the community. When we send donations, I know it's mostly helping to get services, but are we also able to get money in the hands of Armenians to help them pay for what the bills, their food?
Yes, yes, certainly, because now we are organizing. First of all, let me tell you something. It's not just we are doing it newly. From the end of 2019, even before COVID and before the explosion, we helped our people because we saw that the financial situation is terrible. And we helped them in money. Just to tell you, my office, the Armenian Parliamentarian Office, daily, just daily, we help all those who attend and who are in need for especially hospitalization or medication or electricity, or such useful things. Daily, we pay around 10 to 15 million Lebanese pounds. Now, don't compare it to the US dollars now, because in Lebanon, we don't gain US dollars. We fundraise in Lebanese pounds. Just let me tell you an example. If a Lebanese citizen is a Lebanese-Armenian, for any operation, very small operation, in a hospital, in a small hospital, first of all, he should pay around 20 million Lebanese pounds, around $1,000 US dollars, but 20 million is a great number in Lebanon, down payment to enter the hospital. To enter the hospital, it's a down payment. The government doesn't cover. The amount gets around 50 to 60 to 70 million Lebanese pounds. We help them. Exactly, we can't help with all the money. We can't help the half of it. Just we help them daily, on a daily basis. We are helping between 15 to 20 million Lebanese pounds. From the beginning of January till the end of October, we had 642 just in my office, from my office, not the Armenian Red Cross, not the prelacy, just from my office. 642 cases, around 850 million Lebanese pounds. And this was through local fundraising and some help from our compatriots in the Gulf region. Yes, the money, for example, His Holiness around the first distributed 1 million Lebanese pounds a month ago to around 9,000 families. And we have another portion also. His Holiness is ready to help and assist these families. The prelacy helped, we helped, the Armenian Red Cross Loch helped. Yes, the help is coming, and we know that our people in this very bad situation is happy because our people is feeling that we are not alone. And in this particular period of sadness, and we are just in December, we are preparing ourselves for New Year and for Subzanud. We want that our children feel that something is going better in Lebanon because they are not alone. They need to have a smile on their faces for this Christmas, for this New Year.
Angel Hagop, I want you to let Armenians in Lebanon know they are not alone. The Providence community, the communities around the Eastern region, we are all thinking of them. We will have everybody in our prayers. And most importantly, we will continue to support. The Providence ARF and community has supported Armenians of need since the beginning. In fact, today, December 7th, is the anniversary of the earthquake in Armenia, in Spitak, where tens of thousands of Armenians died and hundreds of thousands were injured. We provided support then, and we will continue to provide support. We do when Artsakh needs it, we do when Syria needs it, and we will and continue when our Armenian community in Lebanon need it. Angel Hagop, I can't thank you enough to be with us. And again, I want to let all the listeners know it's very important to send your dollars to Lebanon, but you have to do it through the right means to make sure that it gets used properly and efficiently and it gets to the right people. There's a matching donation fund going on right now. Up to $20,000 is being matched within the Providence community. You can send your check to ARS Ani, ARS Arax. You can write it to Saints Vartanans, mail those checks to 7 Armenia Street, Providence, Rhode Island, and your donation will be matched total of 20,000, 10,000 from Saints Vartanans, 10,000 from ARF and sister organizations. Either way, it's getting to the same people that need the help. You just heard how it's being used very responsibly. Every penny is accounted for, and you can make your online donation through arseastusa.org/donate. You'll see the Lebanon Emergency Fund button. Hit that button, put in your credit card information, and you can securely make your donation. Your $100 donation is going to be $200 because we're going to match it. Your $500 donation is going to be $1,000 because we're going to match it. And it's all going to go and help the people in need. Angel Hagop, thank you so much. You and everybody will be in our prayers. We hope to have this conversation again, and hopefully we hear more good news next time. So in closing, I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Angel Hagop, our guests. I just want to let everybody also know that Friday we will hold a live Facebook premiere event with Ngeroui Sevan from Lebanon, who will tell us a little bit more in detail of what the ARS has been doing, and I'm sure repeats some of the issues that Angel Hagop described to us today. So thank you, everybody. Angel Hagop, have a good night. It's beyond 3 a.m. for you. Thank you for staying up with us. Unless you have any last words you'd like to share, I think you've said a lot. I would say thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. I am really, really very touched, very grateful for your assistance, for your support. Your support means a lot. It's very precious, very valuable. We are sad, yes. We are wounded, yes. We have lost, yes. But after all, we are Armenians. And there is no difference between an Armenian in Lebanon and an Armenian in the United States or in any other place in the world. We are together and we will stay together. Our togetherness is the most powerful thing our nation always had. And now it's the time. Thank you all. I hope another time we can meet in a better situation and speak about happy things, far from sorrow, far from sadness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Angel Hagop, and everybody. This has been a presentation from the ARF Christa Porgomide, and we would like to continue to host these virtual town halls and have guests to educate us about what's going on around the world and how we can help. Again, please donate, and thank you, and have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, Rag.